skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I'm your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business strategist, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 63 countries, such as the U.S., Canada, Sweden, Belgium, New Zealand, India, Thailand, Australia, and many more countries. So I want to thank you to those who are listening from around the world. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that has changed our lives and how we use this to help transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on Blog Talk Radio, on Life Transformation Radio, right here, live, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, hosted by Blog Talk Radio. You can join our Facebook community, Life Transformation Radio Community. You never miss an episode by subscribing, rate, and I ask that you review the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, CastBox, the Google Play Music app, wherever you're comfortable listening to podcasts. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show. On my show, I have entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, podcasters, authors, amazing people that are impacting the world around them. And my guest today does exactly that. If you have any questions for any of the guests during our live broadcast, you can call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number, 657-383-1109. You can call in, talk to the guests, and ask a question. So please help me. Welcome to the show, Jaime McCormick. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, how are you doing, Sean?
Doing amazing, man. Thanks for being on the show.
Man, thank you for having me. It's such an honor. It really is.
Man, so, I've read your bio. I've been following you for some time. We've been talking about this since April of being on the show, and here we are, man. Here we are. So, dude, I love the fact that you're going to be telling us about your transformation. I know it's going to really hit home and resonate with the listeners. And so if you're ready, man, let's do this.
All right. Yeah. Well, I was born in go ahead.
The name of the show, or the name of the episode, is Living a Second Chance Life with Jaime McCormick. Jaime McCormick was born in Muncie, Indiana, and the oldest of two brothers, to a single mom trying to raise two kids. Jaime went to 10 different schools in 5 states, finally graduating in Allen, Oklahoma. His brother died the following year, on December 8, 1990, leaving him an only child. In his early teenage years, Jaime was in 4-H raising Australian Sheperds and become national junior champion. After graduating high school, he joined martial arts, attaining the rank of second-degree black belt in the United Martial Arts Association. Jaime soon after that became addicted to meth and cocaine and left the world of martial arts forever. When it was announced in 2001 that he was to be a dad, Jaime quit the drugs, no rehab, no withdrawals, he just quit. He became a Christian, changed his life, and vowed to change the lives of others with his story. His life is strengthened by his overcoming defeat and his faith in God. Jaime is a dynamic speaker who uses real life experiences to engage, challenge, and serve his audience. His diverse expertise in mindset transformation is highly sought after making him an international coach with clients in America and beyond. Jaime has been heard on iHeartRadio, as well as multiple podcasts such as Raw and Real, Fit World Live, Morning Gratitude, Bathrobe Moments, and Why Can't You, just to name a few. He is the founder and creator of Mindset Management Solutions. Jaime is empowering, inspiring, and an authority on overcoming adversity. He speaks on topics such as perception, the power of forgiveness, cognitive restructuring, and the power of words. He uses personal stories and examples of how a simple change of thought can start to shape a new future. He does not sell just a get-rich-quick formula, but instead how to achieve a full and rewarding life. You want to contact him? There are his links in the show notes for Facebook and LinkedIn. Please reach out to him. The guy is a rock star. So, dude, after reading all that, holy smokes, man, you've been through a lot.
Yeah. It's been the highest of highs and really the lowest of lows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, sounds like it. So the first question that I have to ask, man, is what is your why? What is the reason why you went into martial arts, you got addicted to drugs, you surrendered your life to Christ, became a speaker, you're on podcasts? Like, what is the deep why for what you do?
Okay, the why that I do what I do now, as far as being a speaker, is I would like to change, of course, as many lives as I can before I draw my last breath. All of us are in this life together until we leave it. And our main purpose, people always wonder what your purpose is. Our purpose, Sean,
right,
is to help other people. Now, our calling is different. That's what we do for a career or an education or something like that. That's a calling. Our purpose is to bring the kingdom of God to earth and help as many people be better than they think they can, get past those self-doubts. And as far as why I started martial arts, it was just kind of someone asked me if I wanted to join in. I was sitting in a martial arts class, back watching them do it. The instructor walked up to me, asked me what I thought about it. I told him it was pretty cool. He asked me if I wanted to join. I said no. He said, why not? I said, I don't have any time. He said, what are you doing now? And I went, wasting time. So I got up, walked in, never went back. Became good at it, liked it, loved it. And then, as far as why I got addicted to drugs, or why, there was no peer pressure. I was with a friend who went down to Texas, wanted me to go with him. I said, sure. I was sitting at his table. He walked behind me. He said, do you want some? He threw it over my shoulder, then walked out of the room. So there was nobody there. I just did it, I guess, to see what it was like. And then I didn't touch it again for like a year and a half. And then I didn't touch it again for a year. And then it was 6 months. Then it was 3 months. Then it got shorter and shorter. Before you know it, I'm a full-blown addict. And that's why I walked away from martial art. Yeah. And, of course, I don't know anybody who ever grows up going, man, I'm going to be an addict. I'm going to handle this. I thought right. I was a black belt. I was tough. I thought I could handle this, and I had no idea what I was getting into. And in 2001, my ex-girlfriend called me. She said, hey, I'm pregnant. And she also said, I'm leaving you for your best friend. And that was the same guy that introduced me to drugs years earlier. And that's the night I quit doing drugs. I was like, okay, I have no one. My girlfriend left me. My best friend obviously betrayed me. My family were in different states. My mom wasn't around. My brother had passed away years earlier. I was literally alone. So I went in my bathroom, and I looked in my mirror. And, Sean, I didn't see a toned martial artist. I didn't see a guy who was a dog trainer. I saw an addict. I saw the problem. And we as people are real good at blaming other people. We'll blame society or friends or family. We'll blame God. We'll say the devil made me do it. I was in a point, Sean, when I was looking in that mirror, it was me. There was no blame. We're real good at holding others to the same moral standard that we excuse ourselves from. And at that time, I couldn't excuse myself. There was no one to blame. It was me. So I made the change. I stopped doing drugs that night. Like I said, no withdrawal, no rehab. I just stopped. And my daughter's gave me my life. Now, saying that, I was never suicidal. None of us were in our little group, but we sure
Mm-hmm.
lived a life of destruction. We didn't care. We did as much as we could, as fast as we could,
Wow.
as often as we could, and we just didn't care if we lived or died. Now, we didn't want to die. We just didn't care if we did, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally get it, man. Totally get it. Wow,
so
man.
So doing drugs.
Wow. So, man, that's a lot, man. Being addicted to alcohol like I was, I mean, it wasn't like drugs, but, technically it is, but there's a level of dependency because you want to feel a certain way, forget a certain thing. Like there's always, we have all kinds of reasons why we, like you said, like I wasn't trying to get addicted. Like I wasn't wanting to get addicted. It's just literally that's what just happens.
Yeah, it just happens.
It literally just does. You wake up one day and you're like, how did I get here? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, this is nuts. And it really is. Like, this is nuts.
Yeah. There was actually a point in my life where I was tired of the high. I was tired of staying up 7 days or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was sick of it. And I was up in Topeka, Kansas, actually. And I would get a gram of Coke and be so upset. I'd go into the bathroom, pour it down the drain, and then be upset I did that, go back down and get some more Coke and do it. And it was a cycle. I would throw some away, then I go do some. I'd throw it away, just wanting to breathe, to think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it got so bad, you mentioned being addicted to alcohol. We were actually shooting up Kentucky Deluxe straight into our veins.
Wow.
It got that bad that we were the young imaginable. Still running around thinking we were cool, thinking this is fun. And it wasn't. None of it was.
Wow. Geez, so you're dealing with this. So what was that transformational moment? What was that? Like, what were you thinking? What were you feeling when that call happened that you were going to be a father? Is that the defining moment? That is what took you to that other place and said enough is enough, right? I'm sick of staying up. I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of doing this. I'm about to be a dad. Like that was the wake up call you needed. Walk us through that, man. What was that like?
Yeah. Well, when I got the call, I'm pregnant and leaving for your best friend, there were obviously two great emotions there. One, hey, I'm about to be a dad. God, then whoa, my best friend, what? Because I always held my friends to a high standard, and I put them on a pedestal. I assume my friends did the same to me. That was a learning lesson. Your friends don't treat you the same way. And I realized that in 9 months, a child was coming into this world, whether I was ready to be a dad or not, Sean. It was here. It wasn't going to ask. It wasn't going to slow down. In 9 months, here she comes. And but that was my defining moment. Because I knew that my daughter would not only need a mom, she would be need to be a dad. Now, my dad, he was never in my life. Well, very rarely. My mom left him when we were 2 because he was doing drugs. And then,
oh wow!
When we were about 13, I spent the summer with him, and then I saw him again in 1990 at my brother's funeral, and I never saw him again. And then I got the message, "Hey, your dad passed away." I said, "Really? When?" They said 6 years ago. I didn't even know he was dead. Now, how do you not know your own dad is dead? I didn't know. No, it was 6 years. So I knew that to be a good dad, I had to do everything my dad didn't do, and that was just be there.
Right.
But I had to make some changes. So that night, I made 3 changes. I decided I was going to start going to church because I was 31 then. I'm 48 now. In 31 years of life, Sean, I saw what my own hands could do to my life. I saw what my decisions could do. And I asked myself this question because I'd always heard that God was so loving. He cares for us and takes care of us and so forth. And I thought, man, if he's so loving, how much more could he mess my life up? I did a pretty darn good job of it. So I started going to church. The second thing I did is I kept my daughter my focus. She would need me. The third thing I did is I stopped hanging out with people who did those types of things. My daughter is now 16. I have custody of her. And I have friends that haven't even met my daughter. They're like, why don't you bring your daughter over? I'm like, why don't you stop doing drugs? And I'll think about it. No, I don't drink, smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't cuss. I don't have one-night stands. I want my daughter to know how a woman should be treated by how I treat women. I want her to know how men should be treated by men. I wave at random people. If they wave back, she'll ask me, do you know them? I'll say no. She'll ask me, then why did you wave? And I say this, because I might be the only person today that has. We don't know how our wave or our smile or our little compliment, hey, you look good today, can totally change someone's day. That's why I do it.
Yep. 100%.
Absolutely.
Cool, man. I like that a lot. I love that you've taken a stand. You've taken a stand and you said, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I believe in. This is how we're going to live our life. And I don't care what anybody says. So that's good.
And I don't, because before that, I cared what people thought about me. Sean, we always say that we don't care what people think about us. Yeah, we do. We want that girl to be interested or that guy to be interested. We want our boss to give us the raise. We want people, we like the accolades. We do care what people think. And it gets us in trouble. It also gets us out of trouble. I started caring what better people thought, what pastors thought, what my mom thought, what my daughter thought. I started caring what people who cared about me thought, and it lifted me up. I started caring what God thought about me. Instead of my little junk buddies who were running around, hey, man, come over, let's do a shot. Okay, my sixth one today. All right, let's go do that. No.
Yeah.
I just changed who I cared about, thought about me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally, man. I have conversations with people all the time as a speaker and as a podcaster, and you'd be surprised at how many times, even as a resilience speaker, how many times people live their life according to what others think about them.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It is amazing to me that people hold weight in other people's opinions than their own, whether it be, you're great at this, or you're awesome at this, or you're whatever. They think that because one person says that they suck, then they must suck. Or one person said that you weren't good enough, so all of a sudden you're not good enough. And so what I find, mostly as a speaker, is that a lot of people are living the life in the reality of what others think about them rather than what they think about themselves. Yeah. And that is a horrible way to live. Why are you living in the reality of what other people think about you instead of living your truth and speaking your truth and being empowered enough to do that? What has gone on in your life that has brought you to your knees that you hold somebody else's opinion over your own opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have probably a pretty good answer to that. I've been working in a psychiatric hospital for the past 8 years, and I work with people who are depressed. They feel broken. They don't see a future, and if they do see it, they don't think it's for them. They don't think they're worthy. A lot of times, Sean, I've heard therapists come out and say, well, you just have to deal with this your whole life. You're going to, the darkness is going to overtake you. And these therapists have degrees. They have education. So the patients believe them because they're a person of authority.
Right.
People of authority, even if it's what we don't want to hear. Well, you have cancer. Oh, okay, I guess I have to accept that. You're going to die in 6 months. I guess I have to accept that. No, we don't. Just because they have an authority, why don't we turn to a higher authority? That's why I point people to God. He has a much different view of us than we have of ourselves. And I think words are very powerful. I think the words I am are some of the most powerful words we ever speak. What follows next is more powerful. I am what? I am strong, I am capable, I am fast, I am smart, or I am ugly, bad, I'm alone, I'm depressed.
Right.
What are we thinking about ourselves? That says it all. Even, I don't remember the name, his position was he was a right-hand man to Adolf Hitler. And he said this, he said, any lie told long enough on a big enough scale will eventually be believed as a truth. How many times have we known someone who's skinny, but they think they're fat because people are calling them fat? Over time, they start going, well, maybe I am this way because they keep saying it. So if we start saying edifying things, people will believe better about themselves. But for some reason, it's hard for us to accept goodness being spoken to us, but we'll sure hang on to that bad crap people are throwing over us. Hang on to that a lot.
Yeah. Man, that's just a terrible way to live, man. It just is. Now, you talk about living an abundant life. You talk about living a rich, full life. You know, did you always think that was possible?
No, I thought that you had to work 9 to 5, get your piddly little paycheck, and decide which bill you wanted to pay. This my life that way, just paycheck to paycheck, hoping I get fired. You know, helping someone else get money. And honestly, dude, it wasn't until I became a Christian and I started reading what God says about us that I started going, man, we have more available to us here on this earth than we're allowing to ourselves. If we are truly sons of a king, that makes us princes. Do you know of any princes that are poor? That and have lack? I believe, Sean, that we were made to be kings and queens. We need to adjust our character and start acting accordingly. We need to act this way. Even if we don't have it, even if we don't really believe it, start acting it. See how your life changes.
Absolutely, man. I'll tell you what. I went through the addiction, abused alcohol, tried taking my life, and I even struggled after I started recovering. I struggled. I just I felt like something was missing. I guess I always felt that way. My mom and dad split up when I was little. My mom remarried a year later, and then the guy who she remarried was was an abuser himself. Alcohol and drugs, and he beat on us. So he beat on us a little bit, and a lot, but he beat on us. And I just kind of never dealt with it. I harbored it. I was embarrassed. Talking about, I ran in the doors, and, you just can't be like, oh, well, I got this guy beating me at home. Like, you can't say that because then your mom will get mad, and so there's things that you just deal with and you just suck it up in color, but, it wasn't until 2014, 6 years after everything that I had went through, 6 years later, that I surrendered my life to Christ, and ever since 2014, my life has just been 100% phenomenal. We've overcome adversity, right? Like you overcome adversity. So I just want to say, it is a Christian show, but it's not a Christian show. Like, I talk about God, I talk about other things, but the one thing that I really want people to understand is, just because you're a Christian does not mean that you are immune to the crap that life is going to give you.
Oh, heck no, dude.
That's not what that means. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what that means. Like, everybody's like, oh, well, you're a Christian, you don't go through anything hard. Bull crap. I'm just more equipped to deal with it.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, man, I don't think that the devil cares about us at all until we start confessing in Christ, until we become Christians, until we start doing that. Then the attacks come because he wants us to doubt. He wants us to walk away. He wants us to give in and quit. The devil really doesn't care about us. He doesn't want our money. He doesn't want our health. He doesn't want our kids. He doesn't want our house. He wants our faith.
Right.
We lost. So the attacks come when you start exuding that. It's like if you're on a football field. The other team doesn't care where you move the ball unless you're moving it forward. Then they're going to try and stop you. And that's the same thing as a Christian. As long as you're just sitting idly by, no, you're not going to get attacked. Life will be cool. Life will be okay. But when you start going to take ground to pray for your family and your kids, and you start, telling others, man, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to do it for God and bring his kingdom in. Yeah. Then the accusations come. Then the car breaks down. Then your house blows up. You know what I'm saying? Then it gets rough.
Oh, yeah.
We have an enemy who really wants to destroy us. No doubt. No doubt.
Yep. Yeah. 100%, man. Spot on. I'll tell you what, I lived a pretty crap life, and it was no fault of anybody's but me, but in the moment, you don't think that. You think, well, everybody's against me, and everybody's out to get me, and everybody's, all this other stuff, and it's a lie, so you get wrapped up in your own stuff, you get stuck, and here we are, just living life at a low level, man, just not aspiring to anything. And then people hate us, and they, don't want to be a part of us. And then it's just, it's one thing after another, after another, after another.
Yeah.
And what I have what I have found is that if you get sucked into that, if you get sucked into that thinking that everybody's out to get me and it's everybody else's fault, whatever, it's impossible. It is impossible for you to actually accept responsibility and take responsibility for what you have, what you've created, the life that you've created.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's like I said earlier, where we're good at blaming other people, but we don't want to look in that mirror and go, that's the problem. We're real good at bucking authority and bucking accountability, and until we honestly claim that, I heard my old pastor one time. He said, "You always be truthful, even to your own hurt."
Right.
And if you always take accountability, even if it falls back on you, people will know that guy is a guy of integrity. That woman walks with honor. They will know that you're not going to take accountability unless it might hurt you. Then you're willing to skirt it. But man, just take it. All of it, and it always comes back good. It always ends up good. It may seem bad at the moment, but man, it always comes out better. People look at you better. They hold you on a higher pedestal. Not that we should look for that, but that's what happens. People go, that guy's a guy of honor.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You're living by example.
Yeah.
And that's what I always strive to do, man, is live by example. And I've noticed that once I start telling my story, you're not even going to believe how many people that say, I know, I've been there. I understand that. I've been there. I know people who have been there. My family's been there. This person. I've been there. And so you're not the only one. If you ever think that you're the only one going through this, another lie. It's literally another lie. You're not the only one who's ever been addicted. You're not the only one who's ever lost a friend or a brother or a family member, whatever. You're not the only one going through this particular adversity, right? There's others around you. And
Absolutely.
So, it's another lie just tacked onto, nobody understands my pain. You'd be foolish to think that.
Yeah. I always use this example when I do my groups at the hospital. I spent a lot of time up in Nebraska in that area. There's actually a part of land, I forget exactly where it's at, but there are tracks from the Oregon Trail that are petrified into the ground. You can see the actual trail that they took. And what that tells us, Sean, is other people have been there before us. And I use that with whatever we're going through. People have been there. The problem is when people come out and try to help us, we assume that they're judging or trying to get us in trouble. We don't accept it as help. We take it as them looking down on us, and they're not. They're really trying to help us.
Right.
Yeah. But we really get in our mind like, poor me, no one understands. Like you just said, man, there's been 1 million people addicted before we were. 1 million people tried to come
right.
back we did. And, hey, here's their story. Let's learn from it.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yep. Well said. So how are you now taking your why and taking your transformational moment that you went through, and how are you combining this to elevate the lives around you?
All right. I started writing a book recently, and that's on the urging of other people who said I should put this down on paper. And first, I was like, from Ada, Oklahoma. But when I started writing it, it just kind of flowed out. And I think that's the key is once you start telling your story, you find someone who is down. I don't just automatically go and go, well, if someone's down, I'll say, well, let me give you my advice. Because they may not want to hear it, but I tell them, may I tell you something? May I give you my advice? Because if it's wanted, then they're tending to accept it more. I live my life by like 2 rules. And one is I don't listen to reply. I listen to understand. And I don't argue to solve. I don't argue to be right. I argue to solve a problem. And by those, it really helps you understand what people are going through. And taking my why, how I'm doing it is I reach out to everybody. I was a speaker at the Victims Impact Panel here in Oklahoma at a Christ for Recovery. And any place I can go where I think there might be anybody who needs to hear this story, I reach out to them. I'm unapologetic in that. My name is Jaime McCormick. Here's what I've been through. Can I come talk to your audience? Well, how much you charging? I'll do it for free. Let's go talk. And I believe people before the paycheck always. It doesn't, I mean, you know, we have to make a living, obviously, but man,
Sure.
having someone say, you saved my life, or see that light go on in their eye, that makes it all so worth it right there. That's what it's about.
I love it, man. Absolutely. And it talked in here, in your bio, it talked about the cognitive restructuring, which I absolutely love.
Yes.
In my resilience boot camp, we talked about cognitive bias.
Okay.
We talk about cognitive behavioral therapy and cognitive behavioral techniques and strategies and fact-based positive psychology research. So I could geek out on this stuff for like ever, adversity and the cognitive. So talk to people about what is cognitive restructuring.
Okay, cognitive restructuring, it's actually a phrase coined by Charles Spielberger. He's a family psychologist. And he came up with this theory, or not really theory, but saying that we take our past, we put it on our present, and we prejudge our future into failure before it even happens. Now, cognitive restructuring, it sounds like it's, you know, like you need a PhD to understand it. All it simply means is change the way you think. Look at your circumstances different. Speak about yourself different. That's all it means, is a changing the way you think. And I try to get all my patients, my clients, to every morning start this with finding one thing that you're grateful for. Instead of waking up and go, man, I'm in a stinking psychiatric hospital. How about waking up and go, man, I'm not dead. Walk, I can still see, still in my bed. Find one thing you're grateful for, and that will start the process of changing the way you think.
100%. So the first skill that I teach in the resilience boot camp is gratitude.
Yes.
It's counting blessings. You think of it as hunt the good stuff, right? Hunt the good stuff. Gratitude has been linked to the decrease in stress, decrease in anxiety, decrease in depression, increase in positive emotions. There's an actual theory around this. And Barbara Fredrickson is a researcher here in North Carolina at UNC Chapel Hill. And in 2002, she came out with this theory called the broaden and build theory. And the broaden and build theory means that in an open mindset, because you have closed-minded people, you have growth-minded people, open-minded people. But what she found is that in the open-minded and the growth mindset people, they welcome new challenges. They welcome new information. They're open-minded. You know, in the fact that they don't flight, right? They don't run away, because you have a fight or flight response to all adversity. Yeah. And by counting blessings or having a positive impact, positive emotions, you can build on those. And once you build on those positive emotions, you are then becoming more broadened to abundance. You become broadened in your thinking. You become broadened. So there's a level that you get to in your gratitude and in your growth-mindedness that you now become a very, broadened person. You're not fixated. You're not closed-minded. Which then closed-mindedness leads to depression, anxiety, stress, suicide, addiction. Like, that's people who are closed-minded. That's what happens.
Absolutely. Man, there's a saying called don't worry yourself to death. I'm sure you've heard people say it. Have you ever thought, wondered why we have that saying? Because people have actually worried themselves to death. They've actually done that. Yeah, and there's a guy named Abraham Maslow, another family psychologist. He's actually the father of psychiatry that we learned in high school and in college. And he said what is necessary for a man to change is him to change the awareness of himself. We start that with the gratitude. But sometimes we want to hold on to the pain because it's comfortable. We've been there so long that those demons with their arms wrapped around us, it's warm. It's comforting.
Right.
I remember years ago, I had we're still friends, but he was married to this girl, and he and I were like running buddies. We ran drugs all over this town. And his wife always complained about the lifestyle and said that she was going to leave, but she never did. Well, eventually she did, but before she did, I asked her, why are you still here if you're so unhappy? And she said this, Sean. She said, I'm comfortable in my box. And since then, I've talked to so many people who are comfortable in their box, no matter how bad it is. They're at home now.
Wow.
And it's hard to get them to change their mindset to, you could be better than this. Okay, it's cool that you're comfortable there, but you are worth so much more than this. It's hard to get them to change their mindset. Yeah.
Wow. Well, it says something about, again, closed-minded or closed-focused people.
Yes.
They're so comfortable, living that life, because change is scary. Change is not what we want. Like our brains would love for us to sit in a bubble wrapped blanket, naked in a beanbag chair, eating Cheetos, watching TV on the couch. You know what I mean? Like our brain is wired for safety, and change is like danger, abort, no change, danger. Because people get deep rooted into their routines. Yeah, and that's where the fixed-minded people come from. The worst saying that I've ever heard anywhere, especially in the military, the worst saying I've ever heard anywhere is, well, that's just how we always do it. Oh, my gosh. You want to ruin an organization? You want to ruin a culture inside of a workplace? Just go around saying that. Well, that's just the way we always do it.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
Yes, absolutely. We need to understand that our circumstances aren't the problem. The way we view our circumstances are the problem. And I heard this quote years ago. And when I finally got this in my spirit, Sean, it changed everything. And it was this: if you can't change anything, don't worry about it. But if you can change something, don't worry about it. Go change it. In other words, don't be upset over stuff you can't control. Go change stuff you can control. Don't let it bother you. But we have got to confuse over what we can control over what we would like to influence. Like we would like to influence nuclear war. We would like to influence poverty, right? But can we control those? No. Unless we go, and vote and get new leadership in. But we can control our income. We can control how we view our circumstances. Or like the death of my brother, I can control how I handle that. Back then, I didn't handle it so well. Today, I will handle it a whole lot better than I did back in 1990.
Sure.
So how we handle our circumstances.
And that's why the Serenity Prayer is so powerful, because it says, give me the wisdom to know the difference,
Yes.
Give me the wisdom to know the difference between the things I can change and the things I can't change. But even more so, there's two things in life that you cannot get mad at. Things that you can change and things that you cannot change. You cannot get mad at these things. If you can change it, you have the power to change it, then change it. What are you sitting around pissed off and mad for? And if you can't change it, then you get pissed off isn't going to change the situation either. So, become a master of meaning. Every situation, the Bible says that, Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you.
What you said.
For I know the plans I have for you, not to harm you, but to prosper you, right? So if that is true, then our steps are already being directed. Whether you believe it or not, our steps are already being directed. So if the situation is not right for you, then you have the power to change it. And one false thing that I try to make sure everyone realizes, there's a whole thing that says that God will never give you any more than you can handle, which is another lie. It's not what the Bible says. The Bible says he will not tempt you. He will not tempt you any more than you can handle, which means he will not put a beautiful woman in front of you and make you cheat on your wife. He'll give you a way out. He will not give you that drug without giving you a way out. He will make it happen. He will not give you the alcohol. He will not give you the money, the cars, the life, the whatever, without giving you a way out. The devil then comes in and makes you that way and makes you become tempted. He tried to tempt Jesus. The devil tried 40 days to tempt. Never tempted. He will not tempt you more than you can handle, and he will always give you a way out. But God will always give you more than you can handle, because we need to be rebroken in order to be remade, and then rebroken, and then remade. That is how we grow. Yeah.
Man, I got a friend who moved out to be an actor out in California, and then I called him sometime after that, and he was talking about this girl he was with, and I said, all right, cool, yada, yada, yada. And then later on, I talked to him, and that didn't work out. He goes, man, but I thank God for putting me in this bad relationship. And I said, whoa, man, God did not put that woman in front of you, just like you said. You chose to go out and live that immoral relationship. God taught you through it, but he did not put you in that bad thing. God will not break our legs, Sean, to teach us how to walk. Will not do that.
Love it.
And sometimes we have a very bad view of God. Like the story of the prodigal son, it talks about two sons. One left, took his inheritance, blew it. Then he had a bad view of his dad. He said, well, maybe I can go back. My dad will treat me like a slave. When his dad saw him, he ran and hugged him and kissed his neck and put shoes on his feet and a robe on his shoulders and a ring on his finger and said, go get the fattest cow. Let's sacrifice it. So the other son who stayed also had a bad view of his dad. He said, well, you never gave this to me. And what did the father tell him? He said, behold, you are ever with me. Or everything I have is yours.
Yeah.
But we have bad views of God, thinking he'll either treat us like a slave or what he has isn't for us. And everything he has is ours. We just got to change our mindset, challenge the way we think about ourselves. Pauper, Prince.
Oh, absolutely.
Make a choice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. One of the things that I talk about a lot is that you have these self-defeating behaviors, whether it be alcohol, drugs, whatever. But there's other self-defeating behaviors that people have. We think that, we're addicted to, like hoarding is a self-defeating behavior. Your relationship with money is a self-defeating behavior. You're either a spender, a saver, or a hoarder when it comes to money. You think that money is bad, so you spend it, you like get rid of it. Like I just need to just get rid of it, or people are so afraid that they're going to lose money that they never spend it, and you have these savers, they're like, I'm stashing money away, and then there's other things that people do that can starve their growth. So the most common self-defeating behavior that everybody has, or the second most common one, is that you compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. Well, how come Jaime is so good? How come Jaime's so good at speaking? Like, what the heck, man? Like, I want to be a speaker. How come Jaime's so good at speaking? How come he can overcome adversity so much easier than me? Like this is crap. This is ridiculous, right? They start comparing their life to yours. Like, well, how come he's so good, and how come, But they don't know is that you've been in a speaking world for X amount of years, and you've overcome this adversity time and time again, and you do, you're predisposed to overcoming adversity because you have God on your side, and all that. But the number one self-defeating behavior that everybody has is they start counting other people's blessings. How come they got the hot wife? How come? Oh, look at that car. I want that car. And they start like, oh, I guess Jaime just got a new car. I'm glad he just got a new car. He just had one a couple of months ago. I'm glad he could just roll out with his new house. Oh, I just bought an RV, just bought a boat. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm struggling over here, and he's good. But they don't see what goes on behind closed doors. They don't see
the
personal struggle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I use the analogy of how I became a black belt. I ask people, do you know how I became a black belt? Because I went back again and again and again. I got punched again and again. I got kicked again and again. Then I finally learned how to block. Then I blocked again and again. Then I got thrown again and again. And it's continuous. The P90X program a couple years ago, and I told them this. I said, when you start P90X, I said, here's why most people fail. Because you want to keep up with the guys doing the video. They've been doing this for years and years. You're someone new. Slow down. Get strength and technique first. Strength and power come later. But we want to avoid the technique and go straight into strength and power, and then we're doing it wrong. We're doing it sloppy. And that's why most people fail.
Yep, absolutely, man. So all the listeners that are listening, this is Life Transformation Radio on Blog Talk Radio. You can call in to the show if you have a question for Jaime or myself. The number is 657-383-1109. Again, the number 657-383-1109. And we're talking about living a second chance life and what that looks like and the self-defeating behaviors that people have that hold them back from living a full and rewarding life. So, Jaime, what are some resources that if someone wanted to learn how to overcome the adversity that they're facing in their life right now and learn the power of forgiveness, the power of words, and really restructure their mindset, what are some resources that you can tell them, have them go to, find, research, whatever? What are some resources that you would recommend?
Well, the number one I recommend is the Bible. That is the number one the number one. But man, as far as resources, man, I just started Googling motivational speakers. I started I'm Googling like Francis Chan, Tony Roberts, and Manny Lopez, all these other guys, and watching them. And I started watching documentaries about people who have overcome adversity. And I think that's where your greatest resource is, documentaries of people who overcome these things can be done. And listen to people who have been there before you. Don't just dismiss what they say. But as far as resources, find those documentaries. I don't have any off the top of my head, but find those motivational speakers. Read those Bibles. Read those books. There's a lot of them out there. There's one by Paul J. Myers called Forgiveness, The Ultimate Miracle. That is a great book on how powerful forgiveness really is. And then I'm reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, Stephen R. Covey. Man, find those books and read them. And I believe that everybody, Sean, is born with the same opportunities, but not everybody is pointed toward the same opportunities. Many people don't know that they're out there. So. Yeah.
Yep, so true. One of the books that stand out to me, one of the first really personal development books, because we read the John Maxwell leadership books, and we read some of those other, business books or whatever. But personal development, the first one I read was Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. And it just changed everything that I thought. It just changed everything inside of me. Like, I don't have to struggle. Everything's not a big deal. Everything's not against me. Everything is not out to get me. I can overcome. And it's about finding I have a mentor, Rock Thomas, and Rock Thomas is absolutely so inspiring. And somebody will tell him, like, Rock, oh, man, listen to what happened to me, man. Oh, God, I got this car accident and this, and I got no money and this, that. And he'll go, geez, man, so what's great about that? Sorry that's happening to you. What's great about it? Like, what do you mean what's great about it? There's nothing great about it. He's like, no, there's something great about it. What's great about that? You wrecked your car. What's great about that? Maybe you get a nicer car. Maybe you get a better car. Maybe the car was a piece of crap anyways. You're alive. That's great. You're alive. You got a car accident, but you're alive.
Yes.
So it's just reframing your mindset and what's great about, and he always asks that. You lost $1 million in the stock market. You lost $1 million in the housing market in 2008. Awesome. What's great about this? What's great about it? Yeah, and so he's just teaching people to hunt the good stuff in every situation. And that's huge to overcoming adversity is the gratitude. You know what I mean? The gratitude and
absolutely.
And finding the good stuff into every situation and becoming a master of meaning. Because you have the power to assign meaning to every single thing that happens. You do, not anybody else. You have the power to assign meaning to every situation. So man, thank you for the resources. I always like to give my listeners something that they can take away, a book or something that, like, hey, man, just go read this. I love giving them the resources. So what I want to do right now, as we close the show, what I want to do right now is a shameless plug. You can plug your friends, quotes, websites, programs, products, services, whatever it is that you want to plug. This is the moment. Shameless plug. Go.
All right. Well, man, there's some guys that I've really been connected with on Facebook, building up my network. There's Manny Lopez. There's Tucker Bearden. He does Stay Humble, Hustle Hard, and he just spoke at ServeX, another thing that Manny Lopez had going in Los Angeles, I believe. And then there's Daryl Stern. He's one of the greatest marketing minds out there. He has a Stern Marketing Academy. You can find him on Facebook. And then, of course, myself. You can reach out to me. There's a website, McCormick Motivation at yahoo.com. And if any events coming up, I would love to help you out to achieve your goals. to serve people as much as we can. I believe if you want to lead great, you have to first serve great. You have to figure out how to do that first.
Yeah, and I know all those guys. Manny Lopez is a friend. He's a great guy. Him and I spoke on stage together earlier this year in Las Vegas. Daryl Stern, good dude, super smart in marketing, super smart guy. We were at an event together. I spoke at a podcast event in St. George, Utah. Ever Gonzalez puts that event on called the Outliers Podcast Festival. And Daryl was there, and yeah, I like Daryl. He's good. Tucker Bearden is a rock star, man. Tucker's a good friend. I was on his show. He's gonna come be on my show. He's got my book on his wall of books. So
nice.
I thought that was pretty cool that he did that. My Decisions book is up there, and yeah, man, he just flew out there and delivered a great talk over at Servex. And, I've been kind of working with him a little bit, just kind of giving him tips and strategies and different things to do. Like, man, try this and do this, and this is what I'm doing. This is what works for me. So he's a super good kid. And, he's gonna change the world, man. I don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to change the world. He's got a lot of stuff going for him.
He does.
Yeah, so as we close, what is your best nugget of knowledge that will motivate, transcend, and inspire someone to take action today?
Okay. I want people to know that as long as they have breath, they have purpose, that one of these days we will draw our last breath, but that is not today. I want them to know that they are worthy simply because they exist. They don't need validation from anybody, and they already have it from God. They don't need to go out struggling and do things right. They already are worthy. They don't need to do anything extra. And once you get that down, that you are worthy simply because you're alive, that opens you up and frees you up for so much more in your future. You don't need that validation.
Very cool. I love that a lot, man.
Thank you.
Love that. Man, what a great way to close the show. That was great, man.
Appreciate that.
So we can find you on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Anything else you want to say before we close? Anything that we forgot?
No, that is pretty much it. I do want to say one thing. My friend that my girlfriend left me for, he ended up putting a gun to his head and pulling the trigger. I want people to know suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Whatever you're going through, it's going to seem rough. Is it going to be sad? It's going to be tough. Yes, it is. Can you make it through it? Yes, you can, because every hardship you guess what? You've made it through already. You've got this. Wake up tomorrow.
Wow.
It's not just one day, it's day one. Find something to be grateful for, grab your britches, and go get it. Life is for the living. Let's go live it.
Wow. Dude, what a great way to end the show. And, yeah, man, so true, man. Suicide is just, we talk about the veteran community all the time and the 22 a day that take their lives, the veterans that take their lives. And, we had, a few hundred serving members, active duty members, take their life every year. So, yeah, man, that hits close to home, that really does. So,
yeah,
I want to thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. I just want to thank you, man, for your vulnerability and the way that you shared with us today, man. You're a rock star, and I just want to really thank you for coming on the show and just sharing with us how to overcome, being real, being vulnerable, being authentic and genuine with us, man. I really appreciate that.
Well, man, I thank you for having me. It's been a real blessing, man. I've been looking forward to this since April. Been really looking forward to it.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure. Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest doing incredible things with the second chance that he has been given. If anything has resonated with you on this episode, you can find us at blogtalkradio.com Life Transformation Radio. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Player FM, Overcast, CastBox, Google Play Music app, wherever podcasts are heard. This show is on it. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show, and join us Tuesday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here, live. So as we close, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.
Skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just 49 bucks at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only 49 bucks. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.